get me, you know. That doesn't mean she's not gonna stay, you know. That doesn't mean she's not gonna stay a little concerned. I wouldn't have it any other way though. She's supposed to be concerned.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's certain days. I got no but I think I said, like, I done said places I ain't so wrong. Well, I can't hear myself. Oh, man. Y'all got good, you know. I've never seen you come in here be like, I've never seen you come in here. That's all. I didn't know how I said, man, don't come in. Holy, it's all good. Is that all like your attitude? Yeah, my favorite is so strong. Something like everybody. I'm so optimistic. Yeah, but you good? Yeah. Oh, I ain't going on that. Okay. You want to make it? You know, if you close it, right? Close it, and let it sit. When you open it, they let you know when people going in and out of that thing. Well, what happens is, like during the day, it's always open. Sure. Good morning. Morning, how are you? Good. Working out. Sir? I can't hear you very well. Got a little workout in it? Did you find that weigh scale? I didn't even ask about it, but I will. Thank you. Tell me your name. David Martin. David Martin. Yes, sir. I do that for everybody that just comes in. Yeah, we'll hit council report sometime today. Yes, sir. And we'll sit and talk. But I will ask about a scale. I'm sure they have to have. Well, they don't have to have one. They got one at Walmart. Right. We'll get one. Yes, sir. It interests me. Well, yeah. Sure. And then next week, I get this one, and I'm saying, next 31st. Food. Man, it's pretty outside. I don't mind when it's cool like that in the sun. Like Sunday, I go out on a day, I feel like a day like Thursday. It's my fire pit. Let's see, I'm gonna catch oh, yeah, I'll wrap up in my Mexican break, see the next one kind of cold. I sit there, man, mess around. Boys come out there talking about that. You done scored. I'm like, I don't do that shit. Sales calls and shit. Oh, sports. I just come. You did. You sure? Okay. You get you a nice hog, put it in the ground.
Yo, boy. Put our wood on. Hey, you get up there and be so tempted. I'm all about.
Ever use one of those eggs?
Those green eggs. Yeah. Man, you remember when they first came out? Papa, he went to Oklahoma State. He was out there selling. I had a little jersey on when they first came out. Then I got rid of that. I wish I never got rid of it.
Hey,
that thing cost $1,000.
It'll do it. And you barely got to use anything.
Really? But they're so expensive.
It's worth it.
Oh, I like that gas.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I was. That's the olive oil. Yeah, I need the olive oil spray. Yeah. I'm going to go outside and this way. You see what you want. Three liters a day. Right. The skin.
Anal dip.
I got it. I got it. told me so. All right, let's go.
That's it.
Let's go. Water processing, bro. 9 o'clock processing, guys. 9 o'clock processing, bro. Get it? 9 o'clock processing starting.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We're going to get started this morning. We're going to do things a little bit differently. Not going to be here a long time this morning. We're going to do our group, and the group, we're still on trying to get ourselves in a little bit better shape. And the second, if you have your book, if you still haven't gotten one, you need to let your counselor know. We're on the second stage of that physical health thing. And this morning, look, we need to make sure that we sign our sign-in sheets. That's something we talk about every day. Sign your sign-in sheet. Make sure you sign the right one. If you're TAP, sign TAP. If you're HHSC, sign HHSC. If you don't know which one you are, TAP is from probation, usually in Galena County, not necessarily, but usually. HHSC is everybody else. So, and sign it legibly so I can read it. Somebody hears me say that every day and then signs it so that nobody on the face of the earth could possibly read it.
Must be a doctor.
I don't know who it is, but somebody, man. I don't want to say your handwriting's bad, but you need to go to college and be a doctor because, they say doctors' handwritings are hand scratchings because you have to sign so much junk, all the time. So the other thing, housekeeping, just a little bit, we're at the second stage of that physical health thing. Usually when we get into our recovery, we come in a little bit with our health in a little bit of poor state. But at some point, the next stage, we get to the place where we're contemplating. What's contemplating mean?
Thinking about.
Yeah, thinking about it. So you've thought about making a better, and this says bettery, but, making a better physical health choices, but you hadn't yet developed a plan or don't have a really idea where to start. So here's the deal. That's a good place to be, at least from thinking about it. We have a gentleman here that's been asking about a scale. I'm going to see if we can't find the scale. So if you want to get on that and see where you are in that, we can do that. I got weighed yesterday. I remember I used to every time I went to the doctor, and they weigh you every time you go. So every time I used to go up there, I'd empty my pockets and take my shoes off and all of that kind of stuff. But as you get older, it don't matter. I don't care. I know how much I weigh, so I'll get on there and they'll tell me what they want to tell me. But if you want to keep up with that stuff, I'm going to see about getting one. If we don't have one, I'm going to talk to Miss Susan up there about getting us one so that we can keep up with that. I know that at North, you have them. They're in the every time I go over and go to the restroom over there, they've got a couple of them sitting in the bathroom. So, they're there. So we need one over here as well. And I will almost bet, I won't bet because I don't bet, but I would almost bet that there's the one here somewhere. Miss Cynthia, probably. Yeah, there's probably one. So we'll look, see if we can't do that. Uh, the other thing is this morning, my phone is still on, so if it goes off, y'all excuse me. I also have another phone on my side over here, and I'm wearing this over here just because it looks so dadgum cool. You know, I mean, I've seen. I've got two phones now. I've seen people in Walmart. Yeah, when it's stuck on their side and it just looked so cool. I thought, man, I'll go do that. Now, this is what's called the AOD phone. It's the administrator on duty phone. So if something goes off, I get called. We do that. We have a different administrator. Uh, we go once a week. About every other seventh or eighth week, then I have to wear the thing. So that's what that's about. We are we're gonna do the group today as I feel like doing it. My boss told me to lay on the couch and do it, or sit on the couch, and she's so nice and sweet and kind and good. Ain't no way to do that, But if she comes out, I may flop down somewhere. So we have a thing on the board up here. It's a little bit different. This morning, and no, you can't see it at North. I'm going to start taking pictures of it and bringing it over to you so you can see it. But what is this? That's the ER, emergency room, right? We all need to know where that is. He does look like he's not in very good shape this morning, right? He's looking like he's in a little bit of distress. So the reason we have him at that level, we're going to be talking a little bit about the disease concept of addiction this morning. So every now and then we have to go over the disease concept, and I think it's apropos to do it on the week of Physical Health Week, because this is more a mental thing, but it also has to do with our physical health. And I want you see that there's a line going through him. Where does that line intersect him? Right at his neck. So this is cutting him from the top, from the bottom there. So I want to show you something that right in here, this is where we're supposed to be in this range, and we're going to talk about this range. And down here is one end of the range, and over here is the other end of the range. And I had a guy who is in recovery, by the way. We were actually at church, and we were in the men's Sunday school department, and we were in there talking about stuff, and everybody in our Sunday school is in recovery. Isn't that neat? And so we were all talking about this, and we were talking about that, and somebody said something about the disease concept, and this guy said, well, I don't believe in the disease concept. So, okay. That's up, you full grown man. That's up to you. You get to believe what you believe. He said, yeah, because ain't nobody walked past me and sneezed on me and gave me addiction. So, okay, well, that's true, but you still catch addiction. If you go somewhere and you do what you do in the wrong places at the wrong time with the wrong stuff, and you put that in your body, at some point, your body will catch that addiction. So we want to talk about this being a brain disease here for just a little bit of morning this morning. And wherever you fall out on that, that's okay, right? It's okay. I just want you to know this morning that I am sober this morning for two things. I'm sober this morning because the Lord God saw fit to save my worthless hide. And, if not for God, I would still be living under somebody else's house or something like that. The other reason that I'm sober this morning is that somebody pointed out that this is a disease. Because there's only two other things that it can be. If it's not a disease, it means you are a morally corrupt, no good for nothing, lower than a snake's belly and a wagon rut piece of slime. And that's who you is. So if we're that, then okay, we're just morally corrupt and we're just bad people, right? Or you just have a real poor, what's the other one? Willpower. You don't have enough willpower to stay away from drugs or alcohol. If it's about willpower, you're continuing to do it and destroy your life and destroy others' life just because you want to, because it's willpower, or you're just a lowlife. So here's the deal. I took a look at my life, and I did not want to think of myself as just being a lowlife, right? And then I also didn't want to think, well, I have no willpower at all. It took willpower for me to get this thing. I was the first one that said, okay, I need to have one drink and then another drink. So it was the power of my will that started all of that. Takes a little bit of willpower to get into recovery. I have to say, yes, I've had enough. I need to get into recovery. This stuff is destroying my body, my life, my career, my everything. Yeah, I'm going to go to, I'm going to slide to hell on a razor blade and land in some alcohol. This ain't good. So so if this, it's something. So if I got to the place, I did one day get to the place where I accepted the fact that, hey, this junk is a disease. What's important about this thing being a disease? What's the main thing about it? Say what it again? About it being a disease. About
knowledge of how to treat it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Here's the deal. I have diabetes. Is there a cure for diabetes?
No.
No. Can you treat it?
Yes.
Every day. I treat it every day. I went in there. I'm going to tell you, I went in there just a few minutes ago. I looked on that whole wall over there, and I'm going, oh, my God. There's count them, 2 pecan pies in there. My God. I'm going to tell you, I would almost kill myself to eat a pecan pie, and that's just about what it would do, and I could eat both of those pies. But there's all sorts of stuff. There's little old things over there, and every one of them is chock-a-block full of poison. Sugar is poison. It will kill, and it's just about got me. But you still have a little bit of time. You might can get back away from that stuff. So that junk is poison. But it's a disease, so I can look at it and say, well, I need to stay away from that pecan pie, right? I need to stay away from all of those turnovers, and I need to stay away from all of those little old things that they got there with all the sugar. I need to stay away from that because I have this disease, so I'm treating it. Every day I take metformin, and I take all kinds of junk every day to try to fight back this thing. I also take a shot every day, shoot myself in the stomach, and then if I'm going to eat something that I shouldn't eat, my doctor is way intelligent, so she gave me another needle. When you're finna eat something you shouldn't eat, shoot yourself with this as well. So, okay. So, okay. So it's not curable, but it's treatable. So I can treat it. I can fight it. I can stand against it. Lots of cancers are not, right now, they're not treatable. I have people that I know, tons of people, maybe some in here, but there's tons of people around the world today that's suffering from HIV, right? Lots of people. There's lots of ways to catch HIV, and a lot of people catch HIV. It's not curable, right? Once you get it, you got it, right? You can't cure it. Can you fight it? Yes. There's treatment for it. People live long, happy lives. I told y'all about a young lady that she was 23 years old, and she was my patient, and she had 2 children. She'd been married for several years, and she had HIV, and her husband didn't, and her children didn't. And that's, that's an amazing thing. So she had caught HIV through sexual intercourse when she was 13. And so she already had it for 10 years. And so, she was perfectly healthy, all of that kind of stuff. So you can't get rid of the disease, but you can fight the disease. And that's the same thing, same type of disease in the same family as the disease that we have of addiction. We cannot, there's no pill. Man, when the pill, I'm going to tell you, they're out there looking for a pill right now. Do you don't think they would love to have a pill? Yeah, there's people like me and Mr. Farmer and folks like that are saying, y'all don't need no pill. Don't be working so hard on that pill, because if they get that pill, then we're out of a job, right? You won't need Mr. Farmer. You won't need me. All of that kind of stuff. But no, that's not true. If I could come up with a pill, I would give that thing away for free. But I can guarantee you right now, if Big Pharma, not Mr. Farmer, Big Pharma comes up with a pill that takes care of our addiction, it'll cost you $5 million a pill. Yeah. So here's the deal. This is a disease, but the fact that we can treat it is what just rang bells in my head. This might not look. I might not be able to get rid of this thing, but I can deal with it. I can deal with it. I may not be able to get rid of diabetes, but dadgummit, I'm a full-grown man. I can deal with it. I may not be able to get rid of my addiction, but again, I'm a full-grown man. I can deal with it. But if you happen to be a full-grown woman, you can deal with it as well, right? That's why it's important for us to believe that this is a disease, because if it's a disease, it can be treated. May not be curable, but it can be treated, right? So that's what we're doing here today. This is part of the treatment. All right. So here's the deal. Addiction and the brain. We talk about our brain just a little bit. Addiction is a primary. Here's the deal. This is what we need to get a hold of. It's not a symptom of any other disease. We need to understand, if I'm schizophrenic, my addiction is not a symptom of me being schizophrenic. It's not a symptom of me being this, that, or the other. It is the primary disease. It is a disease all by itself. It is a primary chronic. What does chronic mean?
Long term.
It ain't going away. It's going to be here. It is a primary chronic disease of the brain reward, motivation, memory, and related circuitry.
Progressive.
And it is progressive. It is considered a disease of the brain because drugs change the brain. Before you started using drugs, this was your brain. After you started using drugs of any type, for any level, for any length, your brain's not that anymore. It's this now. Or it's this now. But it's not that. People tell me, well, what's the safe drug? What's the safe drug for you to put into your body? They have not made one yet. How about all the drugs that I take every day the doctor gives? Those may be the worst drugs you can get. Those things, man. Yeah, I had to, they did my blood pressure yesterday. It was like 118 over 66. Pretty good. And they used to make me take lisinopril, which is for your blood pressure, which would drop my blood pressure super duper low. And, I don't need that. My blood pressure is in good shape. And they told me, well, that protects your kidney. What? Well, you're taking metformin and you're taking this other drug, which attack your kidneys. And this protects your kidney. I said, so I'm taking a drug that's attacking my kidneys that the doctor gave to me. So I need to take this other drug the doctor's going to give to me to stop the drug the doctor gave to me from attacking my kidneys. They said, oh, yeah. And then about a year ago, my doctor said, you can stop taking the lisinopril. I said, well, that's good. I don't need to protect my kidneys anymore. They said, oh, well, research shows don't work. So it's not protecting your kidneys anyway.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so now, on the 14th, I got to go in. They're going to do an angiogram. They're going to run up in my veins, and they're going to look at all of those things and all of that. And the lady told me yesterday, 3 days before you come, you got to stop using metformin. So, okay. They said because the iodine that we're going to use, that is going to attack your kidney. And we don't want metformin and iodine attacking your kidneys at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I want you guys to know, I really, really love you. I think the world of you. I tell people all the time, you ought to see those people over at North. Man, they're fantastic. You ought to see the client down there at South. They're just fantastic people. They're just lovely people. So one of these days, when I need to have somebody donate me a kidney, I need y'all to remember how much I love offering. Yeah, because I'm taking all these drugs that's killing my kidneys. And so y'all are young and healthy. You don't need but one. Y'all can give me yes, sir. You volunteering?
I'm O positive.
Yeah. What you got?
I'm O positive.
Oh, you're O positive. Yeah. Okay. There you go. So here's the deal. It's considered because they changed the structure of your brain. Remember we talked about yesterday, if you use drugs, drink alcohol over 20, 25 years, your brain shrinks up to about 20%. How much does the brain weigh?
8 pounds.
8 pounds?
6 pounds.
You got a big old brain. Big old brain. Maynard usually weigh about 3 pounds.
5 ounces.
But his 5 pounds overweight. He got fat brain.
And
About 3 pounds. So these brain changes can be long lasting and lead to harmful behavior seen in people who abuse drugs. Right? They can change your behavior, they can change all that kind of stuff. Now your brain, for those of us who don't have a brain, let me explain to you what those of us who do have a brain, what it is. The brain is a 3-pound mass, and that's, I'm sure that it's not the exact same for everybody, but on average, it's a 3-pound mass made up of many parts. They all act together like a team. Each part has a specific function. The different areas communicate with each other by sending electrical impulses between brain cells, and these are neurons that they send back and forth. The neurotransmitters transmit the neurons from one place to the other. To send a message, the brain cells releases a chemical, and that's the neurotransmitter, into the space separating the two cells, and that's called a synapse. The neuro. Say it again.
How do you spell that synapse?
Synapse. synapse. The neurotransmitter crosses the synapse and attaches to the receptors on the receiving cell. This causes changes in the receiving brain cell, and the message is delivered. Now, drugs will mess up those receptors. The one drug that messes up your receptors more than anything else in the world is cocaine. You use some cocaine and they can burn out your pleasure receptors immediately. So you have all of these pleasure receptors. We'll talk a little bit more about it here in a minute. And I do apologize, but this is a real technical group, But if anybody wants paperwork on it, I'll be happy to give it to you. All right. But somebody hollering at somebody. But it's going to burn that out. And cocaine, with one use, cocaine can burn out hundreds of your receptors. And as those receptors burn out, they can no longer register pleasure. And so you move down the scale. We're supposed to be right here, but as we use drugs, we move down the scale in that direction. And we're going to look at that a little bit. Say it again. Say it to me.
They heal?
Yeah, they do sometimes. If you stop using cocaine, some of them will come back, okay? Some of them, the ones that are not completely dead, they will come back. But it's just like smoking cigarettes. As you smoke cigarettes, you have cilia in your lungs, and the cilia die when you smoke cigarettes. A bunch of them die. Some of them just get paralyzed. And so when you quit smoking, the ones that are paralyzed come back. And so they can go back to work, but the ones that are dead are dead, right? So if you go out to the graveyard and you stand in the middle of the graveyard for 3 months, how many people are going to come back alive that's in that graveyard?
Depends on how good a necromancer.
Depends on what?
How good a necromancer you are.
Yeah. So nobody here's a necromancer, and you're not going to. That's not. Yeah. Well, that's not going to happen anyway. Now, when the Lord Jesus comes back on his second return, when he comes back, all of them are going to get up. So, I'm not going to stand out there and wait on it. I'm going to be around here waiting. So here's some things that drugs do when they are working in your brain. So you say, well, I don't think this drug works on this drug. This is what they do on you. Okay? Drugs are chemicals that interfere with the way these cells communicate. So they can't talk to each other the same way. Mostly substances target a part of the brain that's called the reward system. Y'all remember we talked about the reward system? What's it called?
Reward system.
Well, it is called the reward system. It's also called the mesolimbic system. It's right, MESOLYMBIC system. And it's right up here, behind your eyes up there. The reward system tells us that certain behaviors need to be repeated to survive. Why do you think you should keep using drugs when it's the stupidest thing in the world to do?
Because your brain starts to release dopamine. Get that fixed, is it right?
Yeah, that's part of it, but that's not the answer.
I believe that that's a problem too for me and my male adulthood with the same pleasure sensors get released with pornographic images.
Oh, sure.
It's
It does. It's in the same place.
I think it releases so much dopamine to where it takes more drugs to reach that.
That's true as well. That's true as well.
Because you're trying to reach that same thing, but it reaches all the dopamine.
Right. That's all of those are true, and all of those answers are brilliant. They're brilliant. However, this tells us this. Look, it says the reward system tells us that certain behaviors need to be if you don't quit, if you don't stop, if you don't halt, if you don't do it no more, I'm going to kick you out this program, kick you out this group, and just kick you. Just kick you. Just one time. No. But he can't possibly learn anything. You having a fit and you're doing all that stuff and you're trying to take him with you. Don't take it with you. So look, it says it tells us to do these things in order to survive. Your pleasure center, your limbic system, is also your survival center. It tells you you have to have this in order to survive. If you don't use cocaine again, you're going to die. If you don't use water, you're going to die. If you don't use alcohol, you're going to die. And before we die, we're going to use it. Why do we drown when we're underwater?
Because we need air.
There's no air down there. Huh? You can't process oxygen out of water. All of that is true, but it's because your limbic system drowns your butt. You go down there and hold your breath as long as you can, and finally at some point, your limbic system says, look, you need air, dummy, breathe. And you'll breathe. That's why they find water where? In your lungs. Because you're sucking in water. And so your limbic system saying, we have to survive, we have to have air, breathe. It doesn't know, it's stupid. It doesn't know that you are underwater, so suddenly you are killing yourself, and your limbic system is telling you to do it. So it does the same thing when it says, oh my God, the level of alcohol in our body is too low. The level of cocaine in our body is too low. Get some more. If you don't get some more, you will die. So you'll go get some more because you have that, oh my God, I've got to use type of feeling. Here's some of the things that your limbic system tells you to do. Eat. Your limbic system is the one that starts your stomach telling you it's hungry. At about 3:30 this morning, I was hungry. So I made me some oatmeal. I am not good at making oatmeal, but I made some and I ate it. Yeah, I'm not too good at that. Drinking water. It tells you have to drink. You get thirsty. As a diabetic, I'm thirsty 24/7. You're thirsty all the time. And then it tells you you have to have sex. Do you have to have sex to survive? Human race does. If you don't have sex with somebody, and I know I look around this crowd right here, and I know how hard that is, but you know, if you try hard enough and if you hang out long enough, you're going to find somebody that'll have sex with. I'm sure, look, I know it probably hasn't ever happened for any of us in this room, but you might just don't give up, right? So you're going to get that. Your limbic system is going to give you that desire because the human race, in order to procreate, I'll tell y'all a secret, you've got to have sex in order to procreate. You do. And so your limbic system, normally, now you can go and do, you know, like this guy over here. I got to come up with a good name for him. Like, yeah, I don't know what it is. But you can have, you can be artificially inseminated and all that kind of crazy crap. But the normal way to do it, and the fun way to do it, and the natural way to do it is to have sex. Right? That's what we do. Procreate. So that's what your limbic system is telling you. By releasing a chemical called dopamine, a chemical that makes us feel motivated and makes us have pleasure. Right? So all of those things, can you get addicted to any of those things we just talked about?
Yes.
Absolutely. I know people who are addicted to food. Now look, I eat every day. Praise the living God. I eat every day. There was a time in my life I did not. But today I eat every day. And guess what I eat? I eat whatever I please. Whatever I want to. I'm 72 years old. Now look, I don't eat sugar and I don't eat some other stuff and I eat the right stuff, and I eat the right stuff because that's what I want to eat. Right? So, but I do know people who are addicted to that. There are also people who are addicted to sex. And it's a horrible, terrible net. No, you're not. No, you're not. People say, I'm addicted to sex. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you were addicted to sex, you'd be masturbating right now. You know, so that's it. Y'all don't understand that addiction. It's way, way more than what you think. There are people who really enjoy sex. Yeah, okay, but then there are people who are addicted to it, which is a completely different thing. Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that anything that can cause you to reach dopamine should become an addictive behavior?
Yes, anything that can, he said, anything that can cause a release of dopamine can become an addictive behavior. When drugs enter the reward system, the brain notes that something important is happening. Something weird, something strange, something different, something that's really, really fun. Yes, I've got to do it. That needs to be repeated in the future. So the brain gets that and it says, hey, man, I like that. Man, that was fun. Man, that was magnificent. Wow, I got to do that again. Yeah. So we really want to do it again. So the brain gets all excited about it. When using substances, the amount of dopamine is a whole lot greater than natural rewards, making it that the reward for using is so powerful that it makes us motivated to use again and again and again. So, even knowing that it is the world's worst thing for us to do. Now look, this thing that we have up here is the pleasure scale. This red thing that's running through this guy's head, and I'm going to have to read it for you guys at North because you can't see it. But there's two areas here. We're at a normal place. And what's supposed to happen if I'm using whatever I'm doing, if I'm eating ice cream or having a piece of that cake that's in there or something, then, I feel good. Or I'm doing something that I enjoy. I enjoy working out and stuff, and I feel good about doing that. So my pleasure center says, hey, that's really good. And I enjoy doing that. And it keeps me interested in doing whatever that activity is. And I get pleasure out of that activity. Then I can get to the place where I get euphoria out of that activity. What does the word euphoria mean?
Rising levels?
An elevated level of pleasure.
An elevated level of pleasure and happiness? No. What is it? Everything's okay. Euphoria means just everything's okay. It's all right. Everything's okay. You know, I can read. I got the pleasure I needed. Everything is okay. I'm back to a place of calm and happy. Everything is okay. You know, it's all right. I'm at a good place. That's euphoria. Everything feels good. Usually, look, if we get addicted to drugs and everything, and we get to a place, it's like cigarettes. When it gets to a place, we're getting close to break time here, where people are going to start getting antsy. People are going to start getting, I need to smoke. I need to have something. Don't y'all know I need a cigarette? So my cancer is starting to calm down. I need to, I need the cancer cells need something. It's break time, y'all. And then we'll go outside and and what happens? We get a euphoric feeling. Everything's all right now. I've had my drug. I've reached that place of pleasure that the cigarette's gonna bring me, and I feel everything is beautiful. You know, that's what it does. So that's euphoria, and that's what you're gonna do when you because you get more and more. The nicotine is slipping out of your body, and God's trying to get it out of your body to save your life, and you're going, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to. And then you get down to that place where when you do it, it'll bring you back to that place of euphoria. And you'll do that however many times, however deeply you're addicted to it. 5, 10, 30. Myself, it was 60 times a day. But on the other side of it, though, we have some negative feelings when we start using those drugs in the wrong way. And those negative feelings are, you just flat feel negative. After you've used the drugs for a moment, it takes you to that place where you are not feeling good about them. You're feeling negative. You're getting bored, and then we reach a place of anhedonia. Anybody remember what anhedonia means?
Is that distraught, discontent?
I guess it can cause that. Yeah. Anhedonia means I don't have the ability to feel pleasure anymore.
Oh, numbness.
Yeah, kind of emotionally numb. Yeah, I can't feel pleasure anymore. So what that means is at this point, my pleasure center receptors are either burned out or they're numbed up or they're wounded and all of this stuff, and so they can't do me any good anymore. And so when I take the cocaine, I'm not trying to get high anymore. I'm just trying to get by. I just need to get back. That's when people start, instead of talking about it as a drug, they start talking about it as medicine. I need my medicine. I need to get back to where I was. I need to get back to that place of euphoria. But we usually get to this place here, which is called dysphoria. What does that mean?
Opposite of euphoria.
I'm feeling normal. I'm back. It is the opposite of euphoria. Euphoria means everything's okay. But now I'm back to a normal feeling, but I don't feel okay. I know something ain't right.
I know I'm not okay with being okay.
Yeah. So that's what that drug's doing. Now here's the progression of getting to a place where I am addicted to that drug. Can you use a drug and not get addicted to it?
Yeah. I've never been to those.
Yeah, there are people who actually have a genetic disorder. And if you look and you see if your mama was an alcoholic and your daddy was an alcoholic and grandma and all of your cousins and brothers and all of those people, you may have a genetic disorder that makes you have a propensity to become addicted. And if you go use drugs and alcohol, it is a lot bigger chance that you're going to get addicted than somebody else. So sometimes it's in your genes, right? If mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, then you're probably going to get, you have that danger. We ought to, at that point in time, say, I need to leave that alone. There's a drug out there that you can use one time and get addicted to it. What is that?
Heroin.
It's cocaine.
Crack.
Cocaine. Yeah, crack cocaine, you can get addicted to it if you use it just one time. Usually you have to build that up a little bit before you're addicted to it. But cocaine, you can get addicted to it with just one use. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to with just one use. That means there are people who are susceptible and they can get addicted to it with just one use. So we don't need to look. There's no good reason. Okay, listen to me. There's good reason, no good reason, none to take drugs. The only reason we take drugs is to feel goofy. The only reason is to change our mood. The only reason we do it is because we're unhappy with our lives, the way our lives are, and the easiest way to change things is change our perception of our lives with the drugs we use. It's all that's about. You know, I've had people explain to me 1,000 different reasons why they use drugs, and they're all lying. I lie to myself because I need a good excuse for bad behavior. You know, when I get out of here, when I'm through with the treatment, I'm going to relapse. Some of us are. It's just a fact. Some of us will relapse. We're going to be looking for a good excuse for bad behavior. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. I had a guy a thing. I said that, and it came to me, and he said, "Man, you ought not be telling people that they're going to relapse. You know, statistics prove that there's a great majority of us in this room is going to relapse. It's just the truth, and I'm in recovery from Ligate, so I'll tell you the truth. You know, sometimes the truth is a pretty hard pill to swallow, but it's true. Here's the deal." We progress toward addiction if we don't just pop off and get it on that one drug. Sometimes we like drugs or chemicals that make you like them. Why do you like people? You like their personality. You like the way they make you feel when you're around them. You enjoy their company. Same thing with drugs. Yeah, you like the way they make you feel. I remember when I first started, we'd go in somewhere and doing something. If I take a little bit of this or take a little bit of that, I was much more socially adept. I could go somewhere, I could dance, I could do all of those kinds of things, because I had a little something in me that made me feel like I could do it. So drugs are chemicals that make you like them. And then you want them. I want some of that. Sugar's like that. Did you know that sugar is more addictive than cocaine? More addictive than cocaine. Then at that point, you get to a place where you need them. This party is boring. I need a beer. And what is one of the biggest reasons we relapse?
Stress. Women.
What it is?
Stress.
Stress.
Money. Too much money.
Too much money.
Oh, the thought.
Women.
Women.
The thought. Pain.
What is it? Pain.
Thoughts.
Alcohol, probably. What is it?
Drinking alcohol.
Drinking alcohol is already. If once you drink alcohol, that's a relapse. What makes us relapse? All of those things will do that, but the number one thing is boredom.
Oh, for real?
I was bored. Nothing seemed. Look, yeah, all of that stuff is true. And here's the thing: we're doing the same thing we were doing when we were using. Nothing is different. Well, watching TV is boring. Not when you're high. Not when you're using. Not when you're drunk. Yeah, everything. Yeah, so the reason that things now appear to be or seem to be boring to you is because you don't have the drug in your body. So it's not about the fact that it's actually boring, that you don't like it. It's because you ain't high or drunk or anything. So, so now I need that. And then after we need it, after a while, we got that, man, I need a beer. Man, I need a cigarette. Man, I need some cocaine. Man, I need something. Then after that, we require that. I feel bad unless I use. I had so many thousands of people, and I say that word probably not, but I've had hundreds of people tell me, well, I just use it to go to sleep. I just drink beer now. I don't do no drugs, nothing like that there. I just drink beer. And I just use beer to make me go to sleep. It just helps me sleep. I said, okay, well, how many beers every night do you drink to go to beer? Well, no more than 10, 12. Dude, you are completely zonked out, drunk out of your mind, and passed out.
Right.
You know, you're done. You're gone. You're fried. You're boiled. You know, that look. I'm not kidding. I actually had an individual tell me that. I know I don't have no problem with alcohol. All I drink is beer. What do you think is in beer? Alcohol. Alcohol's in beer. What you got?
I was just reminding you of a good point. So like, if I ever go fishing or if I'm homeless on the streets, I'm always drinking. I'm not a beer person. I drink vodka a lot. But if I'm in hotels, I'm still in bed. So like, it's either one of the two, like an excuse.
Right.
I'm telling myself.
Right.
So
yeah, and I can't do this. I can't do what? I can't do life without some stimulant, without some depressive drug that's helping me get through with it. I feel bad unless I use. I can't enjoy myself unless I'm high. See, the deal about it is that we need to get to the place where we do some of those activities sober so that we can figure out what's fun about those activities and do them sober, because the activity that you're doing when you're high is getting high. It's not the activity. Because I guarantee you, when I was using drugs and alcohol, it didn't make me any difference what the activity was, because the activity that I was involved in was drinking or using. And so that's what we do. So that it takes us to a place of increasing loss of control, increasing boredom when sober. Every time I'm sober, what am I doing? I'm looking for my next. Yeah. Where am I going to get the next? Yeah. And I may not be saying that to myself, but in my subconscious, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm looking for my next drink. I'm looking for my next hit. I'm looking for my next pot. I'm looking for my next vote, whatever. I'm looking for whatever it is I'm looking for. But that's what I'm looking for when I'm sober. Trying to find something to steal, sell, do something. So dependence on alcohol and other drugs, there are some basic terms that we use. And we're gonna go over them kind of quickly. I want to share a couple of things with you. So what is acquired tolerance?
You said acquired?
Acquired tolerance.
Acquired taste?
Tolerance.
And what do you say?
As you use over and over again every time, some people call it chasing the dragon, the process, but it stops being as effective within your consciousness.
This is
a bunch of weed, and then like after 6 months, you eat some more. Yeah, your tolerance goes up, right? As we call it. And so it's like, well, I don't feel as good as last time, or this time I need a little more.
Acquired taste.
No, acquired tolerance is where you build up your tolerance. But it wouldn't be the same way that you acquire taste like you.
well, this is tolerance. This is how tolerance works. As you use, your body builds up a tolerance to whatever drug you're using. So that means in order for you to get back to that place where you want to be, you have to use more. So as you use more, you will, over a period of time, you're gonna have to use more and more and more and more, and over a period of time, you're gonna get to a place where it is plateaued, which means it levels off. And if you have to use like 10 beers or 10 shots or whatever it is to get high here, it gets up there and it stays at that. And it'll stay at that level for 10, 12 years, and then it starts to drop off. What's that called? That's reverse tolerance. And reverse tolerance shows you that you have to use less and less to get high, or less and less to get drunk. What's that tell you?
Burn up.
that you're burnt up, that you're done, that you're done. You right here, along about right here, you need to be calling the family in. Because here your liver is breaking down, your liver is torn down, your liver is going away, and it can no longer filter any of the alcohol or any of the drugs. And so at that point, since it can't filter it, it gives you go ahead and get high because it's not being able to do it. So acquired tolerance, the body adapts to a certain level of substance use and goes beyond that. Reverse tolerance is the body loses its ability to break down a substance. Can't break it down anymore. What is cross tolerance? Yes, sir.
I believe so. For instance, I can smoke weed all day and not be as high, but I take one half of Xanax and I'm gone. Is that cross tolerance?
No.
I'm guessing from my own experience, because I've done this here and there. Cross tolerance is your ability to take it to a different drug that you're not as used to doing and still deal with it because of your overall tolerance from the things you've done.
Pretty close. You're developing a tolerance of one drug. A person develops a tolerance to all drugs in that class. Excuse me. That means if I build a tolerance by using cocaine, then I also build that same tolerance to all other stimulant drugs. If I build a tolerance to alcohol, then I build a tolerance to all other depressive drugs. What's another depressive drug? Alcohol is a depressive. What is it? What is it?
The class known as benzodiazepines.
Benzos can be depressants. Also, marijuana is a depressant. It's a depressive drug. If any drug that you use and it'll get you just a little bit high for a minute and then it puts you to sleep. If you drink a little bit of alcohol, you'll get a little bit high, and then as you continue to drink the alcohol, you get into a depressive state and you'll go to sleep. Same thing with marijuana. You smoke a little bit of it and you feel a little giddy, but then if you smoke a bunch of it, you're going to go to sleep. Same thing with benzos. If it don't work that way for you,
marijuana.
Doesn't? Okay, so he's a.
But I have ADHD, so
you're just not. Say it again.
I have ADHD, so
that has nothing to do with it. You smoke enough marijuana, it's going to put your butt out. You not. We all, I've had people tell me my brain's different. No, it's not. You're a human being. Your brain works the same as everybody else. Exactly the same as everybody else. So if you get enough THC in your body, you're going to go out. It does. You don't have a choice. It's a depressive drug. That's what it does to your system. And so what is ADHD? What is ADHD? What is it?
Attention hyperactivity disorder.
So you got it? What is it? Look, he's going to sleep just out of boredom. So, what is it?
ADHD. Attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. What is it really?
I'm dyslexic.
What is it really? See, we've all got our diagnosis. Everybody in the world. Well, I'm dyslexic. I'm this. I'm that. I'm that.
I think it is like I think it's something that comes with using. Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, I see so many people that are diagnosed with all of that stuff. We started that stuff back in the 50s. We started to try to figure out different ways to give people drugs because in the 50s and the 60s, we didn't really deal with all of that much, and in our academia, United States of America is number one in the world academically. So we decided, hey, we discovered ADHD, and we discovered this, and we discovered that, and we started to give our kids drugs. Most of the kids who start with Ritalin, they give them Ritalin in school. Their ability to do it, they can focus, but they're focused on the spot on the wall, right. And their ability to do So right now we are like 30th in the world academically, but we have our kids under control in school, and at about 13, 14, the Ritalin stops working. So what do? We move them over to Adderall. Ritalin and Adderall both are very addictive drugs. They're very addictive. I've tried really hard to get people off of Ritalin, adults on Ritalin, Adderall the same way. Once you get out of school, then there's no legal reason to be continuing you with the Adderall. So kids are getting it off of the street, or they're using other street drugs and all of that stuff. So it's just putting kids on um, on an addictive drug that's going to get them addicted and keep them. Look, I'm not a proponent of any of it, and we need to do what we can do to help a kid stay off of drugs, not put them on drugs. That's I'm not a proponent of that at all. So yes.
As a doc, I was going to ask you, what's your opinion, or what's your take on the placebo effect?
I think that the placebo effect it's real. It works.
I believe it because it's been done to me without even knowing.
Yeah.
Sugar pills.
Sure, but they were giving you poison. So, all right, we're going to take our break, and then we'll get back and we'll talk about some of this other stuff. See how many other people we can make mad today. We'll be back about 15 minutes.
Where's the sheep? Where's the from Trevor? Oh, this really? It's alright. Oh, please. Oh, man, I'll take your cigarette, man. Man, that's a cigarette. I'm not really about 35. And what do you
It's actually one. You want the waffle or no? What I usually get, and I ordered that. I spent $84 on the bill. Now you want a waffle? I just wasted money. It's money off. $10. That's you. What? You gonna get some breakfast? I ordered Jasmine. Jasmine. Ashley, who is Ashley? Hey, my wife. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, she is. I'm just and I can't open it. Nope. Into it. It's got a strong place. No one has the clothes. And the picture of it. I know. It's horrible. Yeah. I know. What is it? It's so cold. Good. It should be good. Try some of the cinnamon spoons. Super salt. Something like that. So, but I mean, you still got that check. You just check on it anyway. So make sure you're doing it so right now. So, just don't forget. Yeah, okay. It's just that it's what they Jay Fletcher and Brian. She's waiting on the doctor to get me this. And Mr. Miller, she's calling CBS right now. He's still going up. It's too far. Hey, oh, really? That's new. Yeah. Have you been swallowed? I know.
Break down her entire bread. Morning, y'all. We'll be back at 10:50. Good luck with that.
I got no brother.
I got some other guys. It's I must do a lot of taking now.
One time?
You were like, oh. Okay. Today.
Well, put it back on. Don't burn out the yard, get out, find somebody. Come get
So, yeah. You go back to the back. Or we're just, I just know we're going to talk all the days. End this. You know what I know? That's going to be crazy, huh? Thanks, man.
yeah, every time you start trying to do real work, we're like, I do too, but I'm not just bothering anybody but just awesome.
Psychotherapy.
I need that. I don't know how that's working. I was like, I have these problems.
Yeah, exactly. But it's been a ton of like, I would say,
They about to get you. About to happen. Trust me. Look. I'm down over.
No, I'm just trying to.
These are these words. Thank you, ma'am.
always kind of hard to
Poison me? Yes.
be sugar.
Well,
Water?
sir.
I said water.
Um,
Well, water. Just like when people say, "Hey, I like horses." When people say, "Hey," I usually respond with horses. How's your stomach doing, sir?
well,
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope
I called my stomach doctor, but they said maybe tomorrow.
you go through like a private insurance.
So they'll hopefully they'll let me know something. Okay, that's a bounce. But you just drink water.
I'm only asking because I love smoke a lot. But they don't.
It's not lactose.
I was more worried about calcium.
Well, they yeah. So the calcium deposits come from too much cholesterol. So I don't know. They'll let me know.
I hope you're getting enough to just to have
Oh yeah. I want to know. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, it's time to get this thing started.
I was going to spread the word.
Thank you. All right, so we're back in group. A little bit after time, so we may not spend the rest of the time here, but we're going to get something done. I want to go over the rest of these things. We talked about acquired tolerance and reverse tolerance and cross tolerance. Cross tolerance to me is very interesting because we do that from time to time. What we'll do is try to go to a different drug, and we can't do that. If I have an addiction to cocaine, that's a stimulant. But even if I get out and think that I go to a depressive like alcohol, it's still my brain is already wired to be addicted to some type of drug. So whatever mood altering drug I start putting in my body is going to become addicted to that. So withdrawal, what does that mean?
The symptoms or physiological effects you have whenever the drug in question is too long.
So the body develops a tolerance to the substance, whatever the substance is, shows symptoms of withdrawal when the substance is not used. What that tells us, even when we look at something like that, it should tell us without a shadow of a doubt, this is something I need to put in my body. Because if I put something in my body that's going to yell at me when I don't put it in my body, then there's certainly, why would you even think you needed to stay in group? Yeah.
I don't need food anymore. I'm sorry.
No, I don't need that. So anything that I'm going to put in my body that's not going to allow me not to put it in my body is something I don't need to put in my body. Right. That's not good. So
and not all withdrawals are the same.
Say it again.
And not all withdrawals of different classes of drug are the
same. Different classes do have different withdrawal symptoms related to them. Psychological dependence. This is one that we let slip by us sometimes. Yes.
No,
that's what you did. Marijuana, I've had so many people down through the years tell me that marijuana is not addicting.
Oh, it is.
Marijuana is highly addictive.
Highly.
It has 3 different types of addiction.
I feel great.
You are addicted psychologically. You have a real deep desire to use it again. You have a real deep need to use the drug again. It is also physiologically addictive. Your body will, once you get off of it, you will crave the drug. You will have
just get real antsy and stuff like that. So it does. You also develop a oral fixation, which means you have to have something stuck in your mouth. That's one of the other things that happens when you get addicted to nicotine. You have an oral fixation.
I just trying to think. So psychologically,
Psychological, physiologically,
how do you spell that?
PHYSICALL.
Right?
Yeah,
All right.
physically. That's just physically. That's not physiologically, but close enough.
Okay, and the 3 is oral.
Oral fixation.
Oral fixation.
Got to have something stuck in your mouth.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people, you'll see them when they're trying to quit smoking, they'll have a candy cane or something, one of those straight candy canes. Straight, it's not a candy cane, but you know what I'm talking about, chunk of candy stuck in there. They'll just be eating a lot of candy, sucking on a candy something, because they haven't tried to defeat that oral fixation.
Sometimes he's helped me quit smoking for a long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just, constantly.
Took me a lot. I was smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day. Took me a lot to get off of those things, but it's one of the greatest things I've ever done. Down the low, it's low. It's on that scale, but it's one of the greatest things I've ever done. But it's not the easiest thing. It's one of the hardest addictions to deal with. But and I know y'all get tired of me talking about it, but there's 2 reasons I talk about it. First reason I talk about it is that it is an addictive drug, and it kills more people than all other forms of death combined. Suicide, homicide, natural death, death by accident, all of those deaths, you take them all together and put them together. Cigarettes kill nicotine, not nicotine, because nicotine doesn't kill you, but all of the rest of the stuff in the cigarette kills 4 times more people than all other forms of death combined. And it's voluntary. We do it to ourselves. And, and it's highly expensive and all of that stuff, but we still do it to ourselves. The other thing is because I'm a drug and alcohol abuse counselor. And, I've been to bunches of facilities. I was with Centacor for a year. Didn't allow any smoking. I was at the prison for 16 and a half years. Didn't allow anybody to smoke. And I was talking to one of the gentlemen there. He said, well, I'm going to get out here in a little while. I said, great, man. What's the first thing you're going to do? And what I'm seeking as the director of that program was for him to tell me, I'm going to go to an AA group. Get me a sponsor. What do you think he said? I'm going to buy me a pack of Marlboros. Said, you don't have the sense God gave an ape's butt. You're about as smart as a rock. You spent all of this time in here and you forcibly got off of the thing that's killing you and killing more people than any other thing on the whole face of the earth. And your first thing you want to do is get that habit started back up. Yeah, so that shows you how strong that nicotine, it gets into you. It wasn't the easiest thing I did, but what happened to me, I quit 3 or 4 different times, and then at one point, I said to myself, this is stupid, and I threw them away, threw them out my car window, and just said, okay, I'm just going to suffer through it, whatever. 3 or 4 days later, I was fine, and I haven't smoked in a bunch of years. The main reason I quit smoking was money. Because back then, cigarettes cost 33 cents a pack.
So they had dispensaries.
Well, to me it was. I was in the military, and it was about $30 a month worth of, and that was back in the 70s. That was very helpful. Yeah, that $30 a month would carry us through the last week of the month. So that's why I quit. But then, as I studied things, went back to school, got all this education, and I saw all of it. Man, that was the third, probably the third, maybe the fourth greatest decision I ever made. First decision, the greatest decision I ever made was to receive Jesus as my Lord and Savior.
Amen.
Second was to marry my darling. And the third was to get off drugs and alcohol. But that fourth one down there has got to be quitting cigarettes because that's just the way that is. So we have that physical dependency, and then we have a psychological dependency. The belief that you need to use a substance to function. You know, so many. I just use it to sleep. Just use it to feel, normal and all of that kind of stuff. And so,
Gotta get my mind right, as they say.
I got to get my mind right. There's always a good excuse for bad behavior. We can always find a good excuse for bad behavior. There's a couple of real quick things. We don't have a lot of time, but I want to go over these. So there's different classes of drugs, right?
Yes.
We can become addicted to all of these. So depressants, we have called them downers and all of this stuff. Sometimes we don't know what a depressive drug is. A depressive drug will slow down my central nervous system. It relaxes me. It makes me less aware of the environment around me. Some of the examples of that drug are alcohol. That's the one that's the biggest one that's abused. Barbiturates, solvents and aerosols, benzodiazepines, that's Valiums, stuff like that. General anesthesia, the stuff your doctor uses to knock you out. Antihistamines. A lot of people will go by that. You would do it at one time. They were doing a lot of it. Now they protect them where we can't get them as easily. Then there's opiates. What they would do is get those antihistamines and they would crush them up, smoke them, and inject them even. And it was pretty bad. Oh, say it again.
Chloroform.
I can't hear you.
Chloroform.
Chloroform.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't have that. It doesn't have that on here for that.
Okay.
So no, that's on down the line here. We'll look at that in a second. But then there's opiates. We use a lot of those. They're downers. They're painkillers. A lot of people get hooked on painkillers. Slow down the CNS again, central nervous system. They do relieve pain. They're a cough suppressant. I saw a lady. I was at the pharmacy yesterday. They made me buy some nitroglycerin pills, and so I was over there yesterday, and the lady was getting some of that cough syrup with codeine in it. That's some bad junk. So that includes heroin, morphine, codeine, Demerol, Percodan, Percocet, Dilaudid, methadone. All of those drugs are good when used in the right place where they're supposed to be used, except for the street drugs like heroin.
I thought Demerol was non-narcotic.
Say that?
I thought Demerol was non-narcotic for anti-inflammatory.
No, it's not. It's an opiate. So it
I
is.
didn't tour it all. My bad. My bad.
So stimulants, these are uppers. They increase the activity of the CNS, which does an exactly opposite of what the others do. They increase the energy, elevate your mood. They postpone fatigue, and they cause a reduction in your appetite. These are amphetamines, methamphetamine, cocaine, crack, caffeine, nicotine. Yeah, I do a lot of caffeine. Praise the living God, I do no nicotine. What does that prove? That I don't do any nicotine. What does that prove? I got smart. Man. And look, I say stuff like that, but I don't mean if you smoke cigarettes, you're not smart. I say if you smoke cigarette, it's the dumbest thing you do all day. It's the dumbest thing. I know brilliant people. There's surgeons, okay, who smoke. And and what they tell me, and we used to have a thing here for just doctors. And what they told me was to help with the stress of having to hold people's lives in their hands. So okay, I understand that, but still, um, halogens, halogens, hallucinogens. So what's a hallucinogen? It causes profound effects on your perception, the way you see things, hear things, feel things. May affect thinking. Absolutely affects your moods. This is LSD.
Steve, psilocybin.
Come on up here, man. Yeah, come on. Uh, LSD, mescaline, MDA, PCP. What is PCP?
Primary care physician.
Computer something like that. That's not it. And the last one on there is marijuana. Marijuana is a hallucinogen. I have had people tell me in the defense of marijuana. I have so many people defend marijuana. Uh, and one of the things they tell me is, well, it grows right up out the ground. It's a gift from God. What else grows up out of the ground? Cocaine.
Cocaine's man-made process.
Alcohol. All of it.
Really?
Yeah, alcohol.
Oh yeah, potatoes, corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it all grows up out of the ground. Let me tell y'all this just in case you don't know, where I stand with marijuana. There's nothing good about it. It's crap. It's if God came down and said, look, there's one drug that you can just get rid of, I would do. That's the one I'd get rid of. That's the worst drug out there. It's terrible. So you got to hand it to that young lady. She does not just disrupt the group. She disrupts the group. Right? She tears it up. There's nothing left. She took half the group away.
Mr. G.
Yeah.
Don't encourage them.
Oh, well, it's true though. She came in. She stole half of the group, and kind of makes it feel. So here's the deal: psychotherapeutic medications that are used for psychiatric disorders. Some of these can be, they are used. We do use them. They're used in medical treatment for specific psychiatric disorders. They have some unpleasant effects in people without the disorder and are not often abused. So like antidepressants, Prozac, Zoloft, stuff like that. What drug out there that is abused way a whole bunch that we still use for medical purposes?
Well, no, we already covered
that. Cocaine. Cocaine is a Schedule II drug. Until about a week ago, cannabis was a Schedule I drug. Because it's not anymore. They moved it to a Schedule III drug, which I think was a huge mistake because it is the crappiest thing that grows out there in the woods. And the stuff that you're smoking now is usually not grown in the woods. It's grown in somebody's basement in somebody's somewhere. Yeah. So, but that means, and cocaine is on level 2 because it's still an illegal drug for you to have, but we do have a medical use for it. It's used to deaden the nerves and stuff when they do eye surgery, deep eye surgery. They go back, try to get some glaucoma out or something like that. So, what is pause? This is our last little gambit. What does PAW? What is that? Post-acute withdrawal. Yeah, post-acute withdrawal syndrome. What that's telling, and look, and I do realize that is so unfair. You go through withdrawal, you get off the drug, all of that kind of stuff, and then you turn around and it hits you again. And that is crappy, and it is not good, and it's not fair, but it happens anyway. So we need to know that someday with us, it might just happen. If you are on opiates, if you have used painkillers and stuff like that, that thing, PAW, can come back on you for 20 years. It can last 20, 25 years. And help her to disrupt the group. Don't just let that person walk through here without disrupting the group. Don't do that. Don't do it. So you can get up one morning, it'd be 15 years from now, and think, oh crap, I'm in bad shape. Look at all this. So, you wake up and you feel like you're right back into the withdrawal symptoms and all of that. Let me share something with you. They feel like they're going to last forever. They're not. They last for a couple of hours sometimes, and they'll last for sometimes a day, maybe 2 days, but they're not going to last forever. One of the cures for PAW is good old exercise. Get out and exercise your butt off, and the PAW will disappear. So PAW, you can have difficulty thinking clearly. You can have difficulty managing your feelings or your emotions. You can have memory problems, difficulty in recognizing and managing stress in your life for that period of time, difficulty in sleeping restfully, and difficulty with psychomotor coordination. What does that mean? You have what's called ataxia. What does ataxia mean? You're walking like you're drunk. When you're walking like you're drunk, that's called ataxia. And you have that, all of these things can happen to you. And when you have all of them happening to you, of course, you realize and at that point in time, this feels like, trash. This is horrible. And it feels unfair. You know why it feels unfair? It's unfair, but it's what we did to us. We kept taking the crap because we didn't like our reality, or we wanted to change our mood, or your spouse has a horrible body odor. Whatever the good reason for bad behavior we came up with, we did it. So, all we can do is say, hey, here it is again. So what I can do about it is get out, go run around the buildings 3 or 4 times, and things are going to get better for them. And they will. Now, here's how you manage it. This is the fall symptoms. We do not, and look, how many people know what white knuckling it is? I mean, it's just, go ahead.
And white knuckling is like covering up.
Yeah, that. And just dealing with it on my own, just bearing down and hanging on until it's over with. Will that work? Sometimes it will. If you can hang on long enough, they will go away. But a lot of the times that white knuckling thing leads us to using a little something to make us feel better. But instead of doing that, Palls will affect everybody differently, but these are some of the things you can do to manage it when it comes. Stabilization. Go just talk to somebody about who's not going to accuse you, criticize you, minimize what's going on. Just go tell somebody how you're feeling. This one's really good to have a sponsor. Really good to have a sober support system. Person doesn't have to be your sponsor, but they're sober. Having a support system where the people are drunk, that doesn't work. Education. Here's the deal. I went to my doctor yesterday, and she kind of rolled her eyes at me because I'm sitting there doing somewhat like this young gentleman here does, telling her my symptoms and telling her what my symptoms meant and all of it, because I'm going to research it. When they said, hey, you may have this. So, okay. So I researched it, found out what it was, and so I'm talking to her about that. And, Dr. Google knows a lot. And so I got and it took that to her. So we should do that when it comes to PAW. If I know what it is when it hits me, I'm not surprised by it. I'm not freaked out by it. I know what it is. I know it's not going to last forever, and I know how to deal with it. So it's not going to usually destroy lots of people relapse during PAW. Lots of people are going to do it. So learning about all aspects of recovery from chemical dependency helps keep Paul's symptoms in perspective. If I research it, the first chance you get, talk to your counselor, tell her that you need some material on PAW. I need some material on. I want to know what that crap is. Then look, do some self-protective behavior. You're the one, and we were talking about this. Me and the counselors. You know, we're not going to be able to go with you when you leave. Several reasons for that. Don't want to. You know, for the biggest one, don't want to. You know, but you know, it says we can't do it. Nobody can do that. So you're going to be on your own. And so when you leave this place here, you are responsible for your own recovery. Right? You are. And who's responsible for your recovery while you're in here?
I am.
You are. You are. We're going to tell you some really good stuff that you can use to help you keep you in your recovery. I'm working on mine. You need to be working on yours. So you should be, yeah. So you're responsible for protecting yourself from the threats to your recovery. Nutrition. Here's another thing that's going to help you with it. 3 well-balanced meals a day, 3 nutritional snacks a day, minimizing, and this is a hard one for me, caffeine. I'm working on it. Y'all notice I got a bottle of water up here instead of coffee. That's hard for me. I come to North over there. What's the first thing I do when I go to North? Go in the dining room, and North has a magnificent coffee pot. You know, over here, this is a minor league coffee pot. The coffee pot in North is, it's a coffee pot. This thing here, you know, got little grounds in it. So I see some people over here sometimes making coffee from the instant coffee. I don't see how people drink that stuff. Have you ever drank instant coffee? Yeah. That stuff's nasty. That stuff's nasty. That stuff tastes like it is made by the guy, Juan Valdez, the guy that's picking the coffee beans. He's out there, he's picking the coffee beans, he's sweating, they're collecting the sweat, and that's what they make that kind of coffee out of. That's nasty stuff. Nasty. Anyway, so get all of those things, stay a little bit off of and fats and sugar. Stay away from a lot of fats and what? Sugar. You don't need sugar. Listen to me. Sugar is poison. So this morning I ate a cup of oatmeal. Did I put any sugar in my oatmeal?
Yes.
No, I did not. What is wrong with you? What is wrong? I put some monk fruit in mine. Monk fruit is a fruit that is sweeter than sugar, and they granulate it. It looks just like sugar, and it doesn't taste just like sugar because it's real sweet. So it's better for you. Yes.
So you're telling me I'm just repeating the purpose when I substitute sugar for a little bit of pure natural honey?
A little bit of natural honey.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put sugar in anything. Sugar is poison, I'm telling you. If you got to have something sweet, use the monk fruit or use a little bit of honey. Honey is also not great. Honey, will raise your sugar levels up and all of that stuff. If you leave honey sitting outside, how long does it take for honey to spoil? Honey will never spoil.
What?
Honey is the only food that will never spoil.
That's pretty cool.
It never spoil. Now, if you take a Twinkie and put it outside, it won't spoil either. But a Twinkie is not food. Twinkie is nothing. I've been watching here lately how they prepare the food for like McDonald's. I will never, ever, ever, never eat there again. Oh my goodness. Y'all like the chicken McNuggets?
No.
Oh my God, it's a paste they make. It's got bones and all kind of other stuff in that paste that they make. And then if you'll notice, the chicken McNuggets are almost always exactly the same size and shape. It's because they squirt that stuff out. And it's not made from, that ain't chicken. That's chicken byproducts. So y'all don't eat that. So Stay away from all of it. There's not one out there that's good for you. Exercise. We talk about exercise a lot. You know why we talk about exercise a lot? It's magic. It's magic. It's the one thing that if we would get off of our buttocks and do it, it would help every area of our lives. Makes us think more clearly. Once we take a shower, we smell better. Your body, look, every human being has their own unique body odor. We all have that. That doesn't mean we stink. That means we have our own body aroma. And every one of us, those who exercise, their body aroma is more pleasant than people who don't. It's just the truth. It makes your hair grow better. It makes your skin better. It does everything in your gives you better. You can think better. Everything is better. Your digestion works better. So exercise. It can reduce tension and it relieves stress as well. And then once you exercise, look, we do need to do some relaxation, right? I exercise now. Here lately, I haven't been because of my issues, but I exercise every day. But I also have a chair when I sit down that I can lift my feet up just by the push of a button, and I can push another button and watch my television. And so, I'm sitting there watching my TV, Andy Griffith, MASH, MASH. Oh yeah, I watch BTV and I watch Get TV, Great Entertainment Television. I don't watch the trash that they have on today. I just don't care for it. If you do, that's up to you. So, but we need a time, spending time daily on yourself, doing something you enjoy doing. Now, look, if you happen to enjoy eating trash, that means don't do that. Figure out a different thing that you enjoy. Play some basketball. Go fishing. Do something that you enjoy. Then, one thing is another thing is spirituality. Look, here's the thing. This means different things to different people, but spirituality can be helpful. To me, it's not only helpful, it's all there is. Yeah. God is my everything. He's my Lord. He's my King. He's my everything. So spirituality is everything to me. If I can't, and that's the thing I want to get closer to God. In 2026, I intend to do just that. What was it you were saying? Elohim? Balancing your living. Try not to overdo some things and neglect other parts of your life. I know that there's people, look, I have a friend, used to be a friend of mine years ago, I hadn't seen him in 100 million years. He was an AA guy. If you cut him, he bleeds AA. Everything. He's down at the AA place 4, 5, 10, 15 times a week. He's there 3 or 4 times a day. He could recite the 12 steps in the most beautiful way I've ever seen it done. His name's Mike, and it was just, he'd get up there and he would go over just recite the 12 steps, and people would be crying. It's just beautiful the way that he would do that. But that's his whole life. That's it. That's all. There's nothing else. He's just, it's just it. But there's so much more than all of that. Life is a rainbow full of stuff. It's a cornucopia of magnificent. You go out there and look at what God did. It's just fantastic. I thank Him every day for the green grass and the green trees and the water and the clouds. And if you get up early in the morning, you can see chaos in the sky where He's bringing the sun back up and the clouds are over there, and it's just magnificent. So there's a lot of other things. Your life needs to be a little more well-rounded, right? Yes. Questions, comments, or snide remarks? Just the one. Yes, sir.
Do you think you're the last rest of the day with no coffee?
Do I think? No, I've already had 3 or 4. He said, do I think I'm going to last the rest of the day without coffee? Yeah, man. No, I've already had 3 or 4 cups of coffee this morning. I'm probably going to have 1 more cup for the day, but I'm interspersing it with water, which is what I didn't do before, which may be part of my issue. I might be dehydrated. My liver may be drying up or something.
Right?
I don't know. So anyway, thank you guys for today. You did well. We only had one person decide to have lunch during the group. We only had one other person decide to take a nap during the group. So